So throughout my life, there have been moments where I feel like it's not really clear what's going on or where I'm headed. Uh, I don't know how to really maneuver in this situation. I really don't know how to get from point A to point B. I know this situation isn't ideal, but somehow I got to manage it. I don't know how I'm going to manage. And when you go through situations like that, I call it like the fog. Like you can't really see ahead. You just know you're where you are now, and you're just trying to go through it with your bright lights on. That's it. For me, situations where that happened, it was when I first joined the Navy. There's a lot of uncertainty there. Um, because I didn't know what to expect. So I was kind of flying blind in a way. I'm trying to find my way. We had a time where I was pretty much disowned and kicked out of my house, uh, because I didn't want to go to church. Yep, one of those families. That happened. And you know, I didn't know exactly where I was headed or how I was gonna manage it. I just knew that school was starting soon. So that's all I could focus on. But other than that, I didn't there's no way for me to know exactly how I was gonna move forward, with no communication with my family and, you know, trying to find my way in general. I didn't know. So that was another situation. There's a situation where, I got the government job in Maryland and then I got laid off 6 months in. They're like, oh, we got plans to do this and everyone do this and that. But now I lost my job. Like, how the fuck are we supposed to even make this work? Like, we're not rich. So, like, I have no idea how we're going to do this. That happened as well. Um, and through all those situations, though it was uncertain and I didn't know exactly how they were going to transpire, I still ended up landing on my feet and still persevered. In the Navy, I adapted, which is actually one of my gifts is I can pretty much adapt anywhere. So I adapted and once I adapted, learned the system, learned how they do things and things of that nature. I was able to work hard and, do well, get promoted, all those things. When I got kicked out of my mom's house, I had no car. I had my license, but I got my license by sneakily driving Jesse's car for my license because she didn't want me to get my license. She just wanted me to go to school and that's it. She didn't want me to drive anywhere. She didn't want me to do nothing. So me, I'm like, I need to get my license. I want to be able to move around. I want to be able to get a job. I want to work. So, I used his car. He taught me how to drive a little bit in like 5 minutes. And then I went and took the test and passed. Got my license. And then once I got kicked out, I had no car. I had school. I didn't live on what the fuck do you even call that shit? The dorms. I didn't live in the dorms anymore because I was a sophomore, I think. I can't remember, but I think I was a sophomore. So since I was a sophomore, you have to move into the phases, and I didn't want to move into the phases. So I was kind of stuck living in Lenny Rocket's house, not knowing exactly what to do. And in the end, what ended up happening was, I ended up getting a job, I ended up getting a car, I ended up going to school and working. So I kind of stabilized myself a little bit. Um, Besides that, it was well, and then like just in communicating, I didn't really communicate with my family much, but I also realized I don't really need to. It didn't really bother me. I was cool living without communicating, so um, it wasn't really as bad as I thought it was. It was, it was okay. My relationship with them wasn't okay, but I was okay. And then, when the government job happened, I lost it. But at that point, it was like I'm trying to take care of my soon-to-be wife and make sure she's okay. And now I done got us in a situation where we uprooted and moved all the way from California to Maryland. And for this new job that's gonna pay more, that's supposed to like be my new career, and now I'm ass out with no job. So how I'm supposed to do that? In the end, I just started grinding and trying to apply for as many jobs as possible. And the only ones that bite was retail. It was Target and Walgreens. So Target was offering part-time, Walgreens was offering full-time. That's a no-brainer. I took Walgreens. So started working at Walgreens full-time, and eventually, was still able to pay bills and everything. And then once I got past that, was able to use that job as as something to I could flip and buy us a house. So it all worked out in the end. I was supposed to be at Walgreens. It all worked out. Um, I say all this to say, even if there's uncertainty or some roadblock that randomly pops up, that shouldn't scare you. It should just get your mind going and being like, okay, how can I rectify this? What can I do to flip this situation to be more favorable so we can still take care of whatever we need to take care of? That's it. Don't let it stop you and get you scared to where you're freezing and not knowing what to do and not thinking of a solution. At this point in time, this is happening. You have no choice but to think of a solution and do whatever you have to do to make it work. Because otherwise, you're just going to be put into a bad situation that you don't want to be in. And if you have a family, it's going to put them in a bad situation that you don't want them to be in, especially if you're the one that's supposed to be taking care of them. So I feel, when there's fog and uncertainty, all you need to do is research and find your way. And you find your way by doing research, seeing what's the best options, and then not freezing, but taking that leap of faith and going for those options. Plain and simple. Sitting there and freezing and not making a move is going to do more of a detriment to you than taking a leap of faith and going for something that might work or might not work. You'd rather have some kind of progress than no progress at all. You'd rather do something than not do nothing at all. And that's just how I feel. I'm just Kastoan, and this is our reset.